resolution on the impeachment complaints filed against President Ferdinand Bongbong R. Marcos Jr., the complaint initiated by Attorney Andre R. De Jesus, and the complaint initiated by former Representative Liza Largoza Maza, Teodoro A. Casino, Renato Reyes Jr., Attorney Nery Colmenares, and 32 other complainants, we humbly ask for your continuing light and strength. Grant to every member of this committee clarity of mind, purity of intention, and courage to stand by what our conscience and the facts before us have shown to be just and proper. Let truth prevail over partiality. Let duty rise above pressure. Let charity govern our words and actions, even in disagreement. Bless this final meeting, O Lord. May the decision you render today reflect fidelity to the Constitution, respect for due process, and genuine love for our nation and all its people. We entrust to your providence the future of our republic, knowing that all authority comes from you and that true justice belongs to you alone. We make this prayer through Christ our Lord, who lives and reigns with you and the Holy Spirit, one God, forever and ever.
The meeting of the Committee on Justice is hereby called to order. Our today's meeting is a continuation of our February 4 committee meeting. The calling of the roll is therefore dispensed with. The chair will address the committee. Good morning to my esteemed colleagues, regular and ex officio members of the Justice Committee. The only item in our agenda is the approval of the committee report and the resolution dismissing the impeachment complaints filed by Attorney Andre R. De Jesus, the De Jesus impeachment complaint, and Liza Masa, Teodoro Casino, Renato Reyes Jr., and Attorney Nery Colmenares, and 32 other complainants, the Maza et al. Impeachment complaint against President Ferdinand Bongbong R. Marcos Jr. During the meeting held on February 2, 2026, the committee found both the De Jesus and the Masa et al. Impeachment complaints to be sufficient in form. Thereafter, the committee proceeded to discuss the sufficiency in substance of both impeachment complaints on February 3 and 4, 2026, before submitting the matter to a vote. On February 4, 2026, upon a motion to declare the De Jesus impeachment complaint to be insufficient in substance, the committee, with the affirmative vote of 42 members, 1 vote against, and 3 abstentions, the De Jesus impeachment complaint was declared insufficient in substance. On the same day, upon motion to declare the Maza et al. Impeachment complaint to be sufficient in substance, with the affirmative vote of 7 members, 39 against, and 0 abstentions, the Maza et al. Impeachment complaint was declared to be insufficient in substance. Thus, while both the De Jesus impeachment complaint and the Maza et al. Impeachment complaint were found to be sufficient in form, the same were also declared insufficient in substance. Such being the case, the Secretariat was directed to prepare the committee report and the resolution dismissing the complaint, which the committee has prepared and distributed copies to the members of the committee. Before we proceed, allow me to clarify the role of this committee in impeachment proceedings. The rules of procedure in impeachment proceedings provides that the Committee on Justice should first determine whether an impeachment complaint is sufficient in form and substance before requiring the respondent to file an answer to the complaint. This process is not a trivial one, neither is it ministerial on the part of the committee. The rules mandate that an impeachment complaint must first be scrutinized on its face before a full-blown proceeding is conducted by the committee. This is to prevent impeachment proceedings that do not meet the standards required by the rules and the Constitution from taking away precious time from this committee and this chamber. While this committee indeed has the power to issue subpoenas and other compulsory processes, this does not exempt a complainant from supporting allegations of malfeasance or misfeasance with facts and evidence admissible under the basic rules of evidence. In other words, an impeachment complaint must not be solely based on conjecture, news reports, or bare allegations. Maraming salamat po. We now proceed to the consideration of the committee report and the resolution dismissing the impeachment complaint. But before we proceed, may we inquire from the committee secretariat if all the members of the Justice Committee were indeed provided a copy of the committee report and the resolution accompanying the same. Committee secretariat, please. As intimated by the committee secretariat, the copy of the committee report, including the accompanying resolutions, were sent to all the members via email. But before we vote on this, for the record, the chair will read part 4 of the committee report. This is the findings, conclusions, and recommendation. Wherefore, premises considered, the Committee on Justice finds, resolves, and concludes that number 1, the De Jesus impeachment complaint is sufficient in form but insufficient in substance. And number 2, the Maza et al. Impeachment complaint is sufficient in form but insufficient in substance. It is recommended that this committee report containing the findings and conclusions of the committee in the matter of the impeachment proceeding against President Ferdinand Bongbong R. Marcos Jr. be approved, and the attached resolution dismissing the complaints for impeachment filed by Attorney Andre De Jesus and by Lisa Masa, Teodoro Casino, Renato Reyes Jr., and Attorney Nery Colmenares against President Ferdinand Bongbong R. Marcos Jr. be adopted in a plenary roll call vote pursuant to Section 13 of the Rules of Procedure in Impeachment Proceedings in relation to Article 11, Section 3, Paragraph 3 of the Constitution. February 9, 2026, House of Representatives, Batasan Hills, Quezon City, respectfully submitted, Jervil Luistro, Chairperson. That is for the record. Now the Chair will read the portion of the accompanying resolution, the dispositive portion. Now be it resolved by the House of Representatives to dismiss the impeachment complaints against President Ferdinand Bongbong R. Marcos Jr., filed by Attorney Andre R. De Jesus and by Lisa Masa, Teodoro Casino, Renato Reyes Jr., and Attorney Nery Colmenares and 32 other complainants for being insufficient in substance. Adopted, and then the names and the signatures to be affixed by all the members of the Justice Committee. The Chair is now ready to hear the motion.
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, Madam Chair, Madam Chair.
The Honorable Zamora first, and then Honorable Erice.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to approve the committee report containing the findings and conclusions of this committee in the matter of the impeachment proceeding against President Ferdinand Bongbong R. Marcos Jr. and adopt the attached resolution dismissing the complaints for impeachment filed by Attorney Andre R. De Jesus and by Lisa Largosa Masa, Teodoro A. Casino, Renato Reyes Jr., Attorney Nery Colmenares et al. Against President Ferdinand Bongbong R. Marcos Jr. in a plenary roll call vote pursuant to Section 13 of the Rules of Procedure in impeachment proceedings in relation to Article 11, Section 3, Paragraph 3 of the Constitution. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Second.
There is a motion. The same has been seconded. Is there any objection?
Yes, Madam Chair, there are objections.
Objection.
We
Madam
object.
Objection.
The same has been objected by the Honorable Co. We shall proceed to divide the House.
Madam Chair, according to our rules, we may explain our objection.
After we resolve the motion, the members will be given the opportunity to explain.
Madam Chair, this is not an explanation of vote, but rather a debate on the motion. Any motion, according to our rules, is debatable. And
Our
so-
deliberation, the Honorable Tino, was concluded already last February 4. As a matter of fact, we voted already on the insufficiency in substance of both impeachment complaints.
Yes,
This is a motion for the approval of the committee report with the accompanying resolution.
yes,
We shall
Madam-
proceed
yes,
to vote.
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
We are in fact raising objections on the text of the committee report itself, because we feel that it does not properly reflect the discussion and arguments and the position of the endorsers in the complaint. Therefore, we need to explain, kasi ito po ang pagbabatayan ng boto, kapos po, may kulang. Kaya kailangan pong mag-debate.
In the interest of equality, fairness, and justice, the Chair gives the Honorable Tino a period of 2 minutes to explain his objection.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, of course, I only speak of the Masa et al. Complaint, and I would just like to note that in the committee report that is up for approval, there is a discussion starting on, there are no page numbers. The arguments in support of insufficiency in substance are as follows. Then there is a discussion of the 3 parts of the Masa complaint. The first part being with regard to the BBM parametric formula. I would just like to note that this is an incomplete discussion because the narration or the recital of facts in the complaint not only mentions the BBM parametric formula, but together with it, the testimony of Bernardo about how this parametric formula is an integral part of the whole scheme or modus of corruption. which starts from proponents and on to rigged biddings and on to the kickbacks or commitments, which the President approved of. There is also no mention of the act that is being alleged, the act of the President, which is the submission of the NEP. As to the second part regarding unprogrammed appropriations, there is a long discussion here, or starting in paragraph 6, about unprogrammed appropriations being not prohibited by law and not unconstitutional. That is not at all the allegation contained in the complaint. Hindi po kine-question doon yung constitutionality ng unprogrammed appropriations. The recital of facts there is that the President, by law, is solely responsible for authorizing unprogrammed appropriations. That's one point. The second point is that there is also a long recital of facts there that the unprogrammed appropriations approved by the President included thousands of new flood control projects. And it is also recited there that many of these flood control projects went to contractors that are now charged for corruption, including SunWest, Silver Wolves, among others. So crucial point po yun. Therefore, the recital of facts there is sufficient. There is a presidential act, the authorization of unprogrammed appropriations that went to corruption. Okay. And the last point, there is hardly any discussion in contrast to the complaint, there is hardly any discussion of the direct role played by the President in ordering insertions, 100 billion worth of insertions, and receiving at least 8 billion in kickbacks. It is cited in the complaint that Yusek Bernardo delivered 8 billion pesos in kickbacks for the President. No, hindi po sinabing to the President, but for the President. Okay, so to conclude, Madam Chair, and thank you for your generosity in providing this time. To conclude, Mr. President, it is very clear that at this stage there is more than sufficient recital of facts in the MASA complaint to support a finding of sufficiency in substance and to ground the claim that the President is guilty of betrayal of public trust. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Tino. The Honorable Erice first, and then the Honorable
It's in
Rodriguez.
relation to the observations.
With the indulgence of the Honorable Erice, this will be in response to the Honorable Tino. The Honorable Rodriguez is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The first statement that the Bernardo were not mentioned, the Bernard testimony, is clear in paragraph 13. It says, while the statements of Yusek Bernardo might corroborate the statements of former Representative Saldico, there is nothing in the statements of Yusek Bernardo which directly links the President to any of the allegations. Therefore, the first ground for correction, when we discuss resolutions or findings of the committee, we only look at the four corners of the resolution, of the committee report, and see whether it is a misappreciation of what has been discussed, or what has been discussed, which is vital and substantial, are not incorporated. So that's the only reason. We cannot go back to a debate on substance. So in the first one, there is already a statement here. So it reflects the true one. There's no directly links the President to any of the allegations of Bernardo in corroboration to the statement of former Congressman Saldico. On the second one, it's very clear, it's stated here on unprogrammed funds. It's here from paragraph 6, 7, and 8. So therefore, clearly, the concern of Congressman Tino has been addressed in this committee. It is here, the findings on substance. And then the third one also, Madam Chair, or also quite stated here. And so therefore, I'm of the opinion that the committee report is reflective of what has transpired that substantially supports this particular committee. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair,
The Honorable Erice first. Is this in line again with the explanation of Honorable Tino's objection? Honorable Erice? All right. You may proceed, Honorable Erice.
and then Madam Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ang committee po report ay nagpatupad ng pamantayang wala sa Section 5, tulad ng paghingi ng direktang presidential issuance o personal na pag-akda ng allegasyong BBM formula, paghingi ng malinaw na alegasyon ng personal knowledge, approval o intent ng Pangulo, pag-require ng detalye na pang-trial na eksaktong proyekto, halagang benepisyaryo, pagtimbang ng ebidensya at issue ng authentication, at paggamit ng mga doktrinang tulad ng operative fact at presumption of constitutionality upang resolbahin agad ang merito. Ang mga ito ay merits determination, hindi Section 5
Madam Chair,
sufficiency.
point of order.
I still have the floor.
No, point of order precedes all motions or discussion. Point of order.
This is a point of order, Honorable Erice. We shall hear the Honorable Rodriguez.
Madam Chair, we have to therefore ask a speaker to point which page and which particular paragraph are not reflective of what has been discussed in the committee, or what is lacking and where it should be placed if it's lacking. We cannot go back to again a hearing on the substance on this case, Madam Chair. So that's a point of order. Let us have our very respectable Congressman Erice to point to us where is the paragraph here that is not reflective of what we discussed and what is quite lacking, like what Congressman Tino has done. So may we know. We cannot have here a peroration of what is his stand on the substance of the complaint.
Masyado po nagmamadali si
No, I'm not. It's a
Darating
point
po
of
ako.
order
Darating
because,
po sa punto na yan.
we have to go directly. We
Yes.
cannot have so much statement. When we are
2 minutes.
discussing
I have 2 minutes.
the
I
four
have 2
corners of the resolution of the committee report.
I have 2 minutes.
Now we had the point of order should be ruled by the chairperson. We ask for the ruling of the point of order of this representation, that we should directly go into the committee report and point to us what are not reflective of what was discussed here and what are lacking to what the congressman is proposing. Thank
Madam
you.
Chair,
Since the point of order is in the hierarchy of the most paramount motion, and the objection and explanation of the honorable colleagues pertains on the committee report, the Honorable Erice is so directed to pinpoint the portions of the committee report he is objecting to and cite his justification supporting his objection.
The Masa complaint has a direct allegation that that there is a 8 billion kickback for the president. And this is a direct allegation. Ito po ay hindi binigyan ng pagkakataon. Kung ito po ay hindi bibigyan ng substance ng committee na ito.
The Honorable Erice is reminded that the comment should be confined to the committee report rather
Yes,
than
Madam
the
Chair.
committee report.
Madam Chair, a comment on the point of order.
Unless you're raising a point of order, we shall wait until the Honorable Erice finishes his manifestation. Is that a
Ah.
point of order?
No, a comment on the point of order raised by Rep. Rodriguez.
The point of order has been resolved. The Honorable Erice
Point of
is
information.
recognized to finish his manifestation. Let's wait until Honorable Erice is done.
Madam Chair, my objection to the report is on the issue of the Bernardo allegations that the president accepted or there were 8 billion pesos for the president. It's a direct allegation. And this should be, and I think it should be discussed in the committee report. Why is it that the committee did not consider it as sufficiently enough to pursue investigation? Thank you.
Honorable Rodriguez.
that point precisely, we have already pointed out that paragraph 13 of the findings on page 9 of 17, you have to cite, if you have a question on this, you have to cite the page and cite the paragraph. And we can clearly see here that paragraph 13, while the statements of Joseph Bernardo might corroborate the statements of former Saldico, there is nothing in the statements of Yusek Bernardo which directly links the president. In fact, the next one, because there were three allegations. The first one is Saldico's statement. In fact, I would like to include in this particular finding that we have pointed out that the Saldico video statement, nothing can spring from that because it is not notarized, it's not in the territory of the Philippines, and it's not here. And probably I will also ask that. But here on his point, Madam Chair, the Cabral files cannot also be a basis so clearly that we discussed in this report that two allegedly that will direct in their own complaint direct involvement of the president in insertions and kickbacks. Now, this is already the finding, Madam Chair. So therefore, the statement of due respect to Congressman Erice, it reflects already the reasons why the Bernardo State's testimony cannot be considered to form substance to these cases. Thank you,
Madam Chair.
Thank you. The Honorable Diaz-Guerin.
Madam Chair, there was a motion duly seconded. However, there was an objection of the Representative Tino. I move that we divide the House.
Madam Chair,
Second, Madam Chair.
I also objected, and I'd like to register my objection on the floor.
Okay, in the interest of equality and fairness, we will hear the explanation of the Honorable Ko, and thereafter we will proceed to vote on the motion to approve the committee report with accompanying resolution. The Honorable Ko is given a period of 2 minutes for her explanation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Maybe perhaps before I jump off to my explanation, just a point of information in regards to the discussion started by Representative Erice. I heard from his manifestation that he is raising red flags as to how the committee followed procedure. I'd like to point or cite paragraph 3 in relation to how the procedure was followed. But regarding the point that I'd like to raise, at yun po yung rason kung bakit tayo nag-object, paragraph 11 in the discussion of the Liza Maza et al. Complaint states that the complaint fails to allege facts that would constitute abuse with respect to unprogrammed appropriations, the amounts of the same, etc. Madam Chair, we'd like to put on the record that in the complaint and in the discussion herein, we cited specifically the amounts and the acts that would constitute the abuse with respect to unprogrammed appropriations. In particular po, yung acts that would constitute abuse, andyan po yung pagpasa ng NEP, yung pagpirma ng GAA, and after the whole budget process, the releases of the unprogrammed appropriations that is approved through special budget requests. Those three acts are specific po, at ang naggumawa po nun ay ang ating presidente. At ikalawa, the amounts of the same that is also alleged in the complaint and diniscuss po natin on the floor. I could say po that the amounts released would amount to 214 billion pesos, and 111 billion pesos of which went to flood control projects. That's why, Madam Chair, yung aming allegation ay kulang po yung committee report. Gusto po namin maipasok po sa record yung mga discussions that were, to our view, ay hindi na-reflect dito sa committee report, Madam Chair.
The
And lastly,
manifestation and or
Madam Chair.
objection of the Honorable Ko is duly noted. With
Madam
all
Chair, I
due
have-
respect, all these arguments and justifications have been fully ventilated upon and deliberated upon during our discussion on the sufficiency in substance. I am inclined to believe, the chair is inclined to believe that you have a pending objection and that is your justification. Now the committee will proceed to vote to decide on the motion.
Madam Chair, and a last point po, I'd like to cite a different paragraph naman.
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair, for the record as well. On page 5, the last paragraph, we'd like to manifest that there was a voting as to the sufficiency in substance. It only records there the final tally of the third count. Dahil 3 beses po pinataas ng kamay yung ating committee members, we'd like to manifest that hindi po naka-reflect sa report yung instance na nangyari pong gano'n. Madam Chair.
Thank you. Our parliamentary status is there is a pending motion for the approval of the committee report with accompanying resolution. The same has been seconded. The same was objected as well by the Honorable Co. We shall now proceed to divide the House. Those who are in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand.
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, can we can we
know it-
repeat the motion, please?
Yes.
For the guidance of all the members of the committee, the motion is to approve the committee report with its accompanying resolution.
Madam Chair, very important point of clarification because this is already voting. Just a point of clarification.
The Honorable Dilima. You may
Okay.
put down your hands.
Thank you, Madam Chair, dear colleagues. The resolution covers both the De Jesus and the Maza et al. Complaint. And the resolution or the finding and the recommendation is they are declared to be both insufficient in substance.
That's correct,
Okay.
Honorable Dilima.
Okay? In which case, for example, I agree with the declaration of the insufficiency in substance of the De Jesus complaint, but I do not agree with respect to the finding of insufficiency in substance of the second or Masa complaint. So I guess my vote here would be a partial dissent. Is that correct? I just would like to know kung ano po ang tamang boto ng isang miyembro na hati yung pananaw. So the Jesus complaint, yes, it is insufficient in substance. The Masa et al. Complaint, no, it's not insufficient. It is sufficient in substance. So my vote would be partial. So paano po ang patakaran dito? Paano ko po iboboto o ihahayag yung aking boto? Thank you very much.
Suspension of meeting. Meeting is resumed. In response to the query of the Honorable Dilima, by practice in the committee, it's either we vote a yes or a no. Nevertheless, the members of the Justice Committee are given opportunity to manifest their record of vote in order to explain the partial voting of the member in case there is one. Of course, we've seen during our voting on the sufficiency in substance, the partial or indifferent position of some members with respect to De Jesus on one hand and Masa et al. On the other hand. So, to reiterate, per practice in the Justice Committee, it's either we vote a yes or a no, and then we give opportunity to the individual member to explain their record of vote in case of partial voting. That is with respect to agreeing to the first complaint and disagreeing to the second complaint. The
Ma-
Honorable Dilima.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a comment for the record. It would have been less problematic or less complicated if there have been two separate findings, two separate documents concerning the first complaint, the Jesus complaint, and the second. Just a manifestation for the record.
Madam Chair.
Thank you.
The manifestation is noted. The Honorable Po.
Madam Chair, wouldn't it be possible for her to vote yes or no and then note her reservation in her vote in the actual document itself?
The chair is more inclined to follow the precedents observed by the Justice Committee in the past impeachment processes.
Madam Chair,
The Honorable Rodriguez.
aside from their manifestation of their voting yes for one, no for the other, is that we would follow the procedure in the Supreme Court of the Republic of the Philippines. When they sign the report of their members, then they put there, I vote yes for the substance on. So there's an annotation right here because in the decision itself, you can put there, you sign, and then I vote yes for the substance for Masa, and then no for the other. So they can also put here, just like justices of the Supreme Court, we are acting as a committee on justice. So therefore, they can also sign here. And of course, our former Secretary of Justice would know this, that she would be able to put right in the committee report when she signs that she's in favor of the non-substance of the Andre De Jesus. He will say that he votes for substance in the Lisa Masa complaint. Thank you, Madam Chair.
The chair has explained already how to address the position of members who have different positions with respect to one, the De Jesus complaint, and the other, the Masa et al. Complaint. We shall now proceed to vote. Those who are in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. You may put down your hands. Those who are not in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. You may put down your hand. Those who abstain, please raise your right hand. Before we announce the vote, we shall hear the position, the member who has different position on the motion. The Honorable Dilima is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My vote is I concur and I dissent. I concur with respect to the finding of insufficiency in substance of the De Jesus complaint, and I dissent. as to the finding of insufficiency in substance of the Maza et al. Complaint. I have laid down my position during the deliberations. I was pointing out the fact that insofar as the Maza et al. Complaint, I believe that the allegations are sufficient enough, and that is all that we were supposed to do, just to determine the sufficiency in substance of a complaint at this stage. There are enough strong factual allegations, although combined with conclusions, but I still believe there are enough factual allegations as to pass the test of that stage, of this stage. So for me, we have the majority has prematurely dismissed the Maza et al. Complaint at this stage of the proceedings, which is supposedly just the determination in substance of the complaint. So dissent and concur. Thank you, Madam Chair.
The manifestation of the Honorable Dilemma is duly noted. Now we shall announce the vote. With 39 votes in favor of the motion, 4 votes against the motion, with 0 abstention. Noting as well the manifestation of the Honorable Dilemma, the Chair announces the approval of the motion adopting the committee report as well as its accompanying resolution. So ruled. Are there any other matters the members wish to raise?
Madam Chair, may I explain my vote?
The Honorable Erice is recognized.
Well, I voted no because I think there's a misapplication of Section 5, Rule 3. The committee required proof, authentication, and personal culpability. Section 5 requires only a recital of facts. Premature adjudication of merits. Evidence was weighed, credibility was assessed, factual disputes were resolved, all before the hearings. A collapse of constitutional stages. Sufficiency screening, para pong trial na. The committee effectively conducted a mini trial. Denial of due process. Serious allegations were dismissed without hearing. Minority participation was nullified by an improper standard. This is textbook grave abuse of discretion, and I think there's a sufficient grounds to raise it under Rule 65 before the Supreme Court. Thank you.
The manifestation is noted. If there are no other matters the members wish to raise, then the chair is ready to hear the necessary motion.
To adjourn, Madam Chair.
Before ruling on the motion to adjourn, all the members are directed to stay. Those who voted in favor of the committee report and the accompanying resolution are requested to affix their respective signatures. Please stay until you are done with your participation in the committee report and the resolution. There is a motion to adjourn. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Is there any objection? The meeting is hereby adjourned.